Hello, Saoirse. Hello, Arthur. Hello, Aureliano. Hello, Julia. Do I need to say hello to Florencia? Is she going to be watching? I wouldn't be surprised. She's getting a very big girl. I wouldn't be at all surprised. I didn't hear from anybody about what you thought of the two Aesop's fables that I read to you the other day. Uh, there was one about a lion and a mouse, uh, and the lion did the mouse a favour, and then the mouse helped the lion out when he got stuck in the net. Do you remember? One good turn deserves another. And what was the other story about? Can you remember? Was it a. Oh, I know. It was the tortoise and the hare. And the hare challenged the tortoise to a race. And everybody thought the hare was bound to win. But the hare was so confident, so cocksure of itself, that it stopped to have a little rest halfway through. It was so far ahead. And then it went to sleep. And the tortoise, he just kept plodding along, and he whoop, 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 and he won because the hare fell asleep. By the time he woke up, the tortoise was at the finishing line. And what was the moral of that story? Don't be too cocky, I think. But what do we say today? We say, you snooze, you lose. That's quite good. Anyway, there's two more stories. Do let me know what you think of them, because if you don't enjoy these stories, then I shan't bother reading them to you. But got two more today. So let's have a look at what they are. Right. I think you'll enjoy them. Enjoy them. There's a crow on a jug. Let's go back to the beginning. Ah, this is the first story. This is called The Dog and His Bone. That dog looks suspiciously like Holly, doesn't it? Slightly longer tail. It does look a bit like Holly. Anyway, a dog was waiting outside the butcher's shop one day, as he often did, looking as hangdog and sad as he could. As usual, the butcher saw him, took pity on him, and offered him a bone. Well, off the dog trotted, as happy as could be, his tail wagging as he went, thinking of where he'd bury the bone and how good it would taste after a week or two. As he neared home, he had to cross a little footbridge over a stream, and he was paddling across when he stopped to look down at the water, because he was rather thirsty. Oh, he was trying to work out how he could keep hold of the bone in his mouth and have a drink at the same time, when he noticed another dog gazing back up at him out of the water. He thought it was a bigger dog, who had a very much bigger bone than he had. That's not fair, he thought. His bone's bigger than mine, and I want it. And with that, he jumped into the river and made a grab for the other dog's bone. But to do that, he had to drop his own, of course. Only then, as he saw his bone sinking to the bottom of the river, did he realize the mistake he'd made. How silly he had been. There had been no other dog, no other bone, only his own reflection in the water. The dog clambered out of the river, shook himself dry, and walked off home with his tail between his legs, feeling very stupid and very cross with himself. What a daft dog. I'm not sure the dog would be that stupid. But there's a moral to this story. Enough is as good as a feast. If you've got enough to eat, be happy. Don't be greedy. That's where the dog went wrong, wasn't it? He was greedy. He wanted more, even though he got a nice bone of his own. He wanted more. I think he deserved all he got. Well, the next story is called The Crow and the Jug. There's the crow, there's the jug. Now, crows are pretty clever birds, you know, and I can very well imagine that this might be true. They're very good at solving problems. Anyway, it was bone dry in the countryside. There had been no rain for weeks on end. For all the animals and birds, it had been a terrible time. To find even a drop of water to drink was more than impossible for them. But the crow, being the cleverest of birds, always managed to find enough water to keep himself alive. One morning, as he flew over a cottage, he saw a jug standing nearby. The crow knew, of course, that jugs were for water, and as he flew down, he could smell the water inside. He landed and hopped closer to have a look. Sure enough, there was some water right at the bottom. Not much, maybe, but even a little water was a lot better than no water at all. The crow stuck his head into the jug to drink. But his beak, long though it was, wouldn't reach far enough down, no matter how hard he pushed. He tried and tried, but it was no good. However, he knew that one way or another he had to drink that water. He stood there by the jug, wondering what he was going to do. Then he saw pebbles lying on the ground nearby, and that gave him a brilliant idea. One by one, he picked them up and dropped them into the jug. As each pebble fell to the bottom, so the water in the jug rose higher, then higher and higher, until the crow had dropped so many pebbles in that the water was almost overflowing. Now he could drink and drink his fill. What a clever crow, he thought, as he drank. What a clever crow I am. Well, you know that's called, don't you? That's called displacement. If you have liquid in a vessel, such as a jug, and you drop something heavy into the liquid, it displaces the water. And if it's heavier than water, it's more dense, it will sink to the bottom and the water will rise up. It's basic physics. I don't suppose the crow knew that, but was smart enough to know if you drop pebbles in, the water would rise up. Well, what do you think the moral of this story is? Well, Aesop says, where there is a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. That means if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. Of course, it helps if you use your brain like the crow did. Well, what do you think of those stories? That's two more of Aesop's Fables, and I'll read you some more soon. Nice to speak to you. This is your bedtime story. Night, night. Sleep tight. Go straight to sleep. No talking. No messing about. I love you very much. Bye bye. See you soon.